Here's more wrestling news for February 28th, 2023, and we're starting off with WWE. And when Triple H took the reins as head of creative and talent relations, he didn't waste time in bringing back talent he felt had been released unfairly by the previous regime. Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and Dakota Kai are just some of the names who were cut, and now another ex-NXT superstar may be looking to get back in. After his release in 2021, Bobby Fish would join AEW, but left the company after less than a year, and when asked on the Going Broadway podcast about a WWE return, said that anything's possible. Interestingly, at the time of his AEW departure, it was reported that Fish had encouraged Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly to quit the company so they could return to WWE, only to be told no by his Undisputed Era allies. While a return to WWE is possible, Fish added that being a free agent has given him a lot of freedom to do what he wants, and he enjoys not having to ask permission to do things. When his plans to return to WWE as a trio failed, Fish would join Impact Wrestling, but perhaps we'll one day see the former NXT Tag Team Champion back in a WWE ring. In her 2 runs with WWE, Ronda Rousey has been portrayed as one of the company's biggest stars and has feuded with some of the top names. On social media as of late, Rousey has had some Twitter sparring with Bayley, and one comment from the UFC alum has gotten a lot of attention. During a tweet to the Damage Control member, Rousey pointed out that the women of WWE wrestled for just 2 minutes on last Friday's SmackDown, adding, "You may be satiated living off the crumbs we're thrown, but I'm not." While WWE has improved its treatment of women's wrestling in the past decade, it's clearly not enough for Rousey, who has been focusing on tag team wrestling as of late. In her verbal attacks on Damage Control, Rousey said she was at the recent Champaign, Illinois live event and questioned where exactly were Bayley's allies Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Rousey has never shied away from making her views heard, even if they seem to be the exact opposite of what you'd expect from a contracted WWE talent. And do you believe the women's division are given crumbs compared to the men? Sound off in the comments. In late 2019, Vickie Guerrero arrived in AEW and has served as a manager for multiple talent. After working alongside Andrade El Idolo, Guerrero has spent some time managing Nyla Rose, but her time with the promotion has come to an end. Fightful Select reports that Vickie Guerrero is set to finish up with AEW, which was confirmed by multiple sources. It was added that Guerrero and AEW specifically have agreed not to renew her AEW contract, which expires in July 2023. In addition to being a manager, Guerrero has worked heavily on AEW heels and has contributed to a number of AEW digital projects, and just last week recorded an episode of AEW Unrestricted. As to the reason of her departure, nobody can say for certain, but we'll have to see what Vickie does next in and out of the world of professional wrestling. When Sami Zayn's shoulders were counted to the mat at Elimination Chamber, many saw it as the official end of any hope of the Canadian walking into WrestleMania as world champion. Despite Zayn's immense popularity with fans, WWE have kept Reigns' tenure as champion going, though that could all change soon enough. As it was previously reported, Reigns will be in Toronto this week to compete on the March 4th WWE Live event, and it's been confirmed that his title will be on the line against the ex-Honorary Uce. This will mark Reigns' first non-televised match in over 5 months, and while the chances of the title change happening are slim, we know to never count anything out on the road to WrestleMania. It was in Pittsburgh at the 1998 King of the Ring that Mick Foley would achieve arguably the most iconic moment of his career, being thrown from the top of the Hell in a Cell structure. That match was the second ever Hell in a Cell match, and while it is iconic, Foley's opponent on that night was dead set against one huge idea for the match. During the latest episode of A&E's WWE Rivals series, Foley discussed planning the match with The Undertaker and said the Phenom was looking to avoid reaching the roof of the cell. Foley said, "Every day I would approach The Undertaker with the idea of starting the match on top of the cell, and every single day he shot it down." Speaking on the show himself, Undertaker said it was only after Mick persisted, and when Vince McMahon agreed with the idea, that the dead man eventually agreed to go on top of the cell. This year will mark the 25th anniversary of that match that has stood the test of time to this day, but things could have been much different if not for Mick Foley's persistent nature. Last week, wrestling veteran Stevie Richards took to social media to inform fans that he is dealing with several health issues. Now Richard has again shared about his condition on social media, as in a video posted to Instagram, Richards thanked everyone who has sent their positive messages his way. The caption for the video shared a similar sentiment, stating, "The prayers have definitely been felt by us and we appreciate them so much. Please take a moment to pray for those who are in worse medical condition and are alone in the hospital. It breaks my heart to see those laying in a hospital bed without a hand to hold nor someone to lean on while in pain. Hashtag love one another, hashtag help others, hashtag prayer still works, hashtag prayers up." This is still a difficult time for Richards, but he is at least keeping positive in the face of these health issues, and we are wishing him the absolute best in his quest to get back on his feet. On Raw, Candice Lerae faced off against Piper Niven, and thanks to the assistance of Nikki Cross, got the victory over the more physically imposing superstar. And while we're pleased to see Lerae get some screen time, something she's been lacking since her return to WWE, this decision has left a lot of people confused. WWE has been trying to push Niven, now officially moved on from her Dewdrop moniker, as a force to be reckoned with, and she has all the tools to succeed in the Raw Women's division. She certainly has the look, but WWE is doing no favors by having her lose to a much smaller superstar in Candice LeRae, which shouldn't be taken as a slight on the latter. It's been nearly 2 years since Niven was called up from NXT UK, and since then, she's only had short reigns with the now defunct 24/7 Championship, and her title loss this week has done the Scottish superstar no favors. And we're ending today with more from Monday Night Raw, as there was a special treat for the live fans after the show went off the air. The main event of Raw saw Becky Lynch and Lita capture the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and after the show, the new champions, alongside Trish Stratus, celebrated in the ring. Moments later, Seth Rollins came running out and embraced his wife, who, with this win, has now entered the WWE Women's Triple Crown, having won the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles and the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. WWE had to put off using Trish Stratus on last week's show, but the 7-time Women's Champion certainly made an impact this week, and expect to see more of the new champions and Stratus on the road to WrestleMania 39.